everyone, it's K-Red, and this week's peaceful pattern is a favorite of mine. It is called Bales. It is a Zentangle original, one of the very first things I learned to do. You will see it in so many of my patterns, but what I think is great about it for today is it's a grid pattern, and I don't have a lot of grid patterns in my peaceful patterns yet. So we're going to start with step 1, which is quite simply just to make your grid. Now your grid can be as many lines as you want or you don't want. It can be straight, it can be curved, it can be at a diagonal. They don't have to be in a nice squares. They can be any shape you want them to be. But for the peaceful patterns and to make my sample here just easy, I did just a few. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do maybe 4 more. And it doesn't matter if they end or if they extend. It's whatever you want your pattern to look like is just fine. Grid patterns are great. You can practice them on actual grid paper. I always start Bales in the middle. It's just the easiest way for me. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw a petal, a sphere, oval, whatever you want to call it, right down from the top to the bottom, from the top to the bottom. And the goal is to make them all just basically the same size. I like to do the middle and then progress to the outside. And you probably want it to come out about 1/3 of the space. Now you can leave those ends open or you can add one to close it. I'm going to go ahead and choose to leave that open. And I'll go back and finish off this side. And then we just leave them open on the top as if the project went off the paper. I'm telling you, you can do this. There is no right, there is no wrong. And that is the simplest step 2. Step 3, let's get back to that point so we can start. We're going to give ourselves some lines. We're going to make our grid. And this time, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make the lines at an angle. I don't normally, during my steps, I'm going to just make those lines a little bit longer so I have a little bit more to work with. I don't normally during my steps do them different directions, but because this pattern is a little simple, because I am very familiar with this pattern, and I kind of want to show how it looks going a different way. So instead of just at the right angles, now we have these great little diamonds. We're going to do the same thing though. We're going to start in the middle. And we're just going to do our shapes. Oops, I did the wrong color. Well, that's okay. It will work out, trust me. So we're going to do them in red first, and then the next ones I will do in black. You were probably yelling at me, weren't you? Kathy, why'd you switch pins too early? But really, you just turn in the paper, and you're doing them the other way. So I will get, for my sample, the idea that I need, that we're going all one direction, and then you turn the paper and you do all the next direction. And they make these great little flowers in the middle. I'll go ahead and I'll add one at the ends here so you can see what it looks like with ones at the ends. There we go. It is really hard to see the flower. You can kind of see it on this one when they're in all that. So we're going to make sure we do one down here that is not. I do think this looks great when you work off a curve. So I'm going to grab myself a pencil real quick. I'm going to give myself a curved line so that I can work off a curve and be able to not have to mentally keep it going. Let's add the lines. I'm going to go ahead and do some straight ones. This is a pattern that I will use a ruler for. I know that's not strictly Zentangle approved, but I like it when the lines are equal, so I will often do that. And then I'm just going to, in Zentangle fashion, estimate the lines so that they are about equal. Let's go ahead and grab a little bit of an eraser. I have a little bit of a rubber eraser here that should work. And we're going to go ahead and take off that line before we get too far. There we go. So now let's start one direction. I always start up and down first. It's just my norm. I always start in the middle. So we're going to go to the top. We're going to go straight down. We're going to go to the top. And we're going to go straight down. I think it's really important that we go all one direction. And then I turn the tile and I go all the next direction. Trust me, you will get mixed up. It is easy to do if you don't. Now, if you had made these lines, this grid, in pencil, you could come back in and erase it, and your little petal flowers that we're going to be making wouldn't have the stem in the middle, wouldn't have the line in the middle. And that is super cute as well. And notice when it's going off the page, I just let it kind of float open. Now I'm going to come back and do my edges. Now, theoretically, you could even do this as like an S, but for me, they don't turn out quite right, so I don't typically do that. Now that I have them all going one direction, I'm going to turn my card. I'm going to start in the middle like I always do. And I'm going to make the exact same design, the exact same shape, going the other way. And now you will start to see those flowers appear that were kind of hard to see in the small and in the black and red. You'll have to watch me. This is also a pattern where I tend to skip a line sometimes. So if I end up missing one, you'll have to leave me a comment and let me know so I can go back in and fill it into my card. Now in these, you could decide to leave it open or closed. I decided to close them. I'm going to leave those open. Like that, so we can see our line go down. Okay, let's do these. We'll leave those as they are, and I'll be able to have the example of the two different ways I could do it in the future. These Peaceful Pattern cards are all about examples. They're all about future prompts for drawings so that we can then see how we want things to look. Now, if you're new, I appreciate you being here so much. Thank you. If you have a moment, like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to my little channel. If you've been here before, even a bigger thank you. I'm so honored that you would come back and listen again. But as you know, I like a big bold circle in the middle of all of my centers. To me, it covers up a mountain of sin with whether or not my points come together exactly right. So mine will always have this. If I'm doing one with color, I will often come in and do a nice dark coloring here. That looks really cute as well. And to me, it's just a great, almost like a shading. It's just a great finisher to make it look more polished and a little less rushed. So we're going to do it just like that. Now, if you notice in here, it's always a little bit of an optical illusion to me. Because most of the time what I see is the flower, right, with the 4 petals. But what there also is this great box in the middle that you could aura, that you could draw a flower in. I'm just shading it in just a little bit on here, just to give it a little bit of emphasis. With just a very, this is a 0.7 pencil. This is a very fine, hard pencil lead. And just with the lightest, slightest pressure, doing a diagonal line in them. Not part of the pattern, but I'm going to use it in my shading. Just to help accentuate that it makes this great box. Now on this one, what I really should have done is a little circle on the outside of these. And then I could have done that, and that, and that. There we go. Kind of close those off. Definitely need one there as well. So we'll add our circles, just like that. So on this side, rather than continuing the lines like I was just going to, I think I'll give myself the future prompt of the other thing I like to do is put a nice solid dot right in the middle. And I always think that makes just a cute design as well. So on the edges, I'm going to put it where that dot would be. On this one, I'm not going to close it off. I'm going to go ahead and leave it open. So we have all kinds of examples as we do this. As far as other shadings that we can do, we already did the shading in between the squares to help accentuate those. We can also do, let me get just a little bit more pencil on this. We can do just a little bit of shading as they come in. We could do a shading straight up the middle of each one. But I can just do a little bit there. This one, I'm not really going to do much of any because I have the shading behind it. They can be dots. They could be another design. Could be a whole nother tangle. Could be all kinds of things. So what do you think? Do you like Bales? I got to tell you, I do. I can't tell you the amount of time I've spent doing this. It is a Zentangle original. And as always, I found it on tanglepatterns.com. An amazing site. Or there's also, Zentangle has their site. And you might be able to get a link to where they do it. I think they did it in a blog back in the day. I have no idea what year it was. Well, I just looked it up, but when the blog came out, this came out in 2010. So a nice little anniversary of 15 years ago. But what do you think? Let me know. Please like and subscribe. Try this out. If you feel brave, send me a link to where I can see the work you've done. I would love to see what you're doing. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.